El mundo puede detenerse. Tus sueños no. Elige bien. Elige UPB.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our university here in Bucaramanga, Colombia. Good morning to all our audience here in Colombia and Latin America. Good morning to our audience in Germany and Europe in general. And if we have people from another continent, maybe, good day to you too. My name is Andrés Acevedo. I'm a professor here at Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana in Bucaramanga. And today I will be guiding the event as a moderator. So welcome all to the HEPCOPA lecture series. This is a project organized by Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana, Universidad de Potsdam, as part of the Higher Education Potsdam Colombia Partnership. The HEPCOPA project is a bilateral initiative developed jointly by Colombia and Germany, in which the University of Potsdam, University of Caldas, Pontificia Universidad Javeriana from Cali, Colombia, and Colombian Universities Association, ASCUN, and the Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana from Bucaramanga, they have all worked together since 2018 to build up capacities in the areas of quality, digitalization, and management in higher education. Today, we have with us Professor Gustavo Quiroz Uribe. He will be giving a talk about overcoming or transmuting the current mindset. This is a topic that is closely related to societal transformation. He will also be guiding an interactive exercise. Before we begin with the lecture, I must invite you all to the virtual course, Societal Transformation Processes. It's a virtual course that the HEPCOPA lecture series will give a participation certificate to the audience that complete at least 80% of the activities that will be posted on the platform. You can receive a high value added certificate when you register for your professional journey. If you want to complete the registration, click on the link that is fixed on the top of the YouTube chat. So now let me introduce to you our speaker today for this lecture, Professor Gustavo Quiroz Uribe. Professor Quiroz has a master in innovation for business management, focused on strategic sciences from Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico. Professor Quiroz Uribe is an experienced coach with proven track record in innovation, creativity, professional training, and complex problem solving, with skills in research, workshop creation, gamification, team empowerment, and strategic planning. He describes himself as a professional with a creative sense and always oriented to solve the real core of the problem. Gustavo, welcome to HEPCOPA lecture series and thanks for sharing your ideas.
Thank you very much, Andres. It's a pleasure to me to be here. And well, thank you everyone to come to this channel, to this moment, and to try to understand a kind of vision and focus it on the current mindset. That is more of the topic that we are going to talk. Thank you, Andres, for the introduction. So where we are going to start now. So this is the basic structure of the representation, no, of the exposition. No? It's a phrase, but we want to go ahead and move from it to understand the different parts of it. No? So first one, first one is, can we? Yes. So first one is, can we? The idea here is giving us the permission to understand if can we do something different for the current situation of the world, of the cities. If we give us the opportunity to think different. So here the can we is giving us the option to move forward and understand a better situation. Next, we have the word transmute. Transmute here is a old word. It came from the alchemy. Here the idea is not just do a change, but also picking up the low or the lowest metals and evolve it to put it as a gold. What is transmutation? Or what is a transmute version of the situations? You pick up a situation and move it up in a better representation. The better representation for all the people involved or involved in it. Then we have the mindset. What is the mindset? For Carol Dweck, we have to kind of view our positions to understand a mindset. Mindset is like a goggles, which allow of the structure and emotions to see the reality. But again, we have a small situation here. We have a fixed mindset and expanded mindset. What is a fixed mindset? A fixed mindset is one that you could use to get results in any part of the life. But the problem of fixed mindset is that if you want to change it, most of the time it doesn't have that option. It doesn't have that opinion. It gives you the the enough stress to take that change. When you have an expanded mindset, you can change easy. You can see the life in a different way, in a different point of view. Can we transmute the mindset? Of course, that is the idea. Which mindset we are having problems? What is the lowest version of it? And how we can change it? But more important from how is to which. Here we are talking about the citizens, but not just the citizens in a general way, but the citizens of the world. Here we are not using an approach from a government approach, but an approach from a lot of people or persons that want to do something different and impact individuals, peer to peer. That is the vision of the citizens. Can we transmit the mindset of the citizens? How? Is the more open question of that, you know? And with that, we enter to our first strategy, that is, we want to revolutionize. Here the revolution is not just use the force. Here the revolution is that you want to pick up, put on a better way, and open a neutral place. This place is especially useful to not enter in a polar fight. The revolution here is giving the option to another person to think different, to understand his own mindsets, and more in an easy way, revolutionize the idea to I can have the opportunity to think about myself, but not just as a job, not just as a rule, not just as a law. Here you can revolutionize from yourself, trying to understand how we can transmute our own barriers. Then we have the individual thinking. Why the individual thinking? Individual thinking is the moment in the inner cycle of the person that they begin to understand his mind and how his thinking appears in the reality, not just as a projection, but as a decision tool. Especially if you have a fixed mindset, you could have a lot of problems trying to change your view. That is why group works or a lot of diversity teams help us to solve problems because you have to change your fixed view most of the times. And here the individual thinking is the option in their heart to think, I can do it better, I can transmute it. And again, with my example, a lot of people who do it in a better way. That is why I say, okay, I can expand. Expand in which section? Expand to the sensation that you are living the life in the moment that you are living. That is expanding. We want to expand this kind of vision to improve wellness, wellness of the heart, wellness of emotion. In some part of Europe, they use the word slow. Go slow with a lot of situations. Here, we want to go slow with a lot of situations to help identify the current mindsets, the mindset that we are having problems, and again, impact it on the reality. That is one of the things that we need most. No? Which reality? We have three kinds of realities. The inner reality for ourselves, as I said, thinking, emotion, or inner world, the virtual reality or the digital reality that most of the time here is what we are having this kind of conversation, and the reality of the life, the physical world. If we could not impact these kind of realities, we are living apart the more important thing because the fixed mindset usually change between realities. And they also have that kind of spicy situation that is broken you and is forcing you for doing a change. So here, the real question is, can we transmit the mindset of citizens to revolutionize the individual thinking and expand wellness of the reality? Of course! And this is the best special moment to have a do the talk. If you want to, if you are simply listening something different, and again, to put in the first situation to understand the mindset and how the transmute is going to appear. With that in mind, let me talk to you about one example. Usually, a popular example. You say that here we have the Squid Game, but very common this year, no? It's a TV show that also it's a game that the persons more or less they volunteer to participate on it for money, a lot of money, but a great risk, to losing the life. But why this kind of situation give us, by the view of Netflix, so much effort? What is the mindset here? What is the fixed mindset here? The fixed mindset here is that we have to put our life at risk to earn money. That is the fixed mindset. Okay, there is a structure with some rules that the players understand, but another rule that appears as the game progress. Here on the Squid Game, the players simply die for playing childhood games with the hope that if they pass level by level, they earn more money. And without the emotion involved in it. Why pick up a Squid Game? Because they have the sensation of it's a game, it's a TV show. But again, understanding the fixed mindset and how our emotions are being backed for seeing this kind of vision and a little bit of cruelty transfer on the TV show is one of the ideas, especially to understand transmutation. Because here, when you finish to see the TV show, sometimes you could do a metaphor here. You could understand something, you could learn something. But the activity of the option to move forward and empower from yourself to do something different is part of the situation. And most of the time you don't. You simply pick up emotions, stressful, and again, enjoy a very dramatic TV show. That is why I want to do like a little change here. And another kind of proposal. Now, an introduction. It's also a game. But here, it's a board game. Juego de mesa in Spanish. The idea of this game is, again, we are going to pick up the ego. But what is the ego? The ego is that part of the life that is carrying all the negativity. Most of the time unconscious, but in another part of the time, you know it, and you're trying to understand if that negative impact bad you or bad the others. That is why we want to transmute the monster ego and also giving him a representation. Why? Because if we represent the ego or the difficulties or the problems, maybe one day we can solve it. And we are not ignoring it. Just putting the special sensation to do a change. Here we have a monster. It's the corruption. It's a common representation for Colombian and most of the Latino American people. Here, 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 we want to understand this kind of parts. In his left hand, he pick up the money. And with that, the monster transforms the money and jam. He transforms the jam by his words in the middle of the throat, and then he cut his hand and put a human hand. But not just put a human hand. He wants to impact, to juntar, to put the jam in another person. Which one? The innocent. Because in our common, in our normal fixed mindset of the view, all the people that is impacted by corruption are innocent. So here we have the monster, the problem. But we're again, we want to do a change. I know that you have a lot of questions, but let me move a little bit forward. Then we have another two kind of characters. Another monster, and another one is that his representation is very different. No? Is what we call a self, ordinary self. Ordinary self is how we are going to live the life in a common way, in a beautiful way. And the character starts with his heart because it's beautiful. But you don't have to see the pretty just as beautiful because it is. Then you have a glove again, and you want to dress up with this glove to put value with you. And the hand in which part, again, Remember, we are talking about alchemy. We want to put gold, to put value on the thing. So we have the gauntlet, to put the gauntlet, and then we want to put it. And the expression of the legs is something like we are moving with natural or unnatural thought. And in the other part, we have the monster again, another monster. This is the painwheel. His history is like pure like the head of a eagle, and it's like a veil that after he has not been destroyed during a war, he carried out the scars of the war, and to give up his option to express herself, he decided to go and walk, again carrying a bone. And the very inside of this veil is still appear the remembrance of the word. So he's not yet finished in his mind himself. He's carrying the word and a bomb that someday maybe it will explode. That are those kind of characters. And here we want to go and move and try to understand what is a transmutation. But we want to transmute the representations and how. So these are the instructions for the game, for the representation. The first one, the objective of the game is understand the characters and pair it by representation on the board. Yes? Basic objective. Sure. Next, we have to answer the questions in a moment of view. Then explore the pieces. We are having an experience in a moment ago, like 5 minutes. So we are going to enter on a jump board, and some of our students are going to try to explore these pieces of the characters to try to understand what is the meaning of these characters and these pieces. And then pair it by improve, by construction, by playing. We are not that is the experience. And then compare your solution with your pregnant need. So the idea is to enter to the jump board in this moment. I am not sure, Andres, somebody have a question here?
No, Gustavo, we don't have any questions right now in the chat. If anyone has questions, they can write them down in the chat, and I'll share them with Professor Gustavo. But you can continue, Gustavo. There are no questions.
Yes, so the idea is that we are going to jump to the jump board in this moment. So uh, wow. some of the person. Yes, yes, you can transmit the jump board. We don't have focus on the person. They already started activity. So the idea is that if every person enter to his one of his to his boards, no? And here we are on the basic setup of the scenario. We want to pull out all the persons that are here. They are students from the universities. Where are they? Guys, you one moment address. Guys, can you move to the everyone to one of his diapositivas from one of his layers to start the activity? Someone, I am not sure where are you. One person is the pumpkins on the beginning of the screen, and the other ones. Go ahead, Andres, with the question and the characters trying to participate.
Professor Gustavo, two questions mainly.
Yes.
First, don't we need some kind of URL to access the workshop? And second, do we have to use every image?
No. To access the workshop,
How
the
do we access
the the workshop is
how do we interact with
the
the
workshop is just a small group of the students that have been pre-selected to do this workshop.
Oh, okay. So there's been a group
Yes,
of students pre-selected. Okay. And they have already accessed.
they already have
Okay.
access on the
Okay.
platform.
I understand.
Yes.
All right.
And no, you don't have to use every part, just the part that you want to use. Yeah. So I am not sure if the student are ready. Okay, the pumpkin is going to check it out. We have the elk. Okay, we have the pumpkin of place. Hi Nicholas, what is going on? Thank you very much. So we are going to start with you. Spectacular. Thanks. Thanks, Rafael. Well, here is what we want to begin. The first question, as I told you in the rules, is who is he? Who is who is this character? As I said on the representation, as I say on the representation, this character have a name, have a role. Who is him for you? You can pick up the text word, Nicholas, and put on who is this character for you? What represent this human that appear in the middle of the board? Yes. You could also, Nicola, you could use the text. It will be a better. Exactly. Thank you very much. A worry group. Okay. Thank you very much. And what is her role? As I say, every participant in this Jamboard could do it in his own layer, no? In his own frame. No? Okay, thank you very much. So, Nicole, he's picking up. Nicole, remember to answer the questions. You have moved the pieces. I am going to talk a little bit with you. But remember to answer the three questions from the left. No? Who is, what is her problem, and how to address it. You partially matched the representation. No? That is good. So you pull it up, the sorrow, the old past fissure, and the beauty. Thanks, Nicole. Hmm. Maria Alejandra is just understanding all the pieces, no? It's okay. It's okay. The idea here, Maria, is that every piece has like a meaning, a representation. And you want to move it and put in the part that it gives you some kind of reference. While putting some parts on the left hand of the girl. Why? And what is your intention with that? Entonces, a girl at the office, thank you, Maria. Then, what is her problem? She broke the table. Okay, yes, that is her problem. Yes. And then, how to address it? What will be the situation? Entonces, here we have like a mix because the idea is part of the representation that we are using like a puzzle. Trying to solve will be the very put of the pieces for you, of course, because it's you individual thinking, Maria, and you can move the parts. If you have a question, you could put. I come back in a moment, Maria. Thanks. Okay, so for Nicole, it's a girl in trouble, and her problem is she can work. Okay, thank you very much. And finally, how to address it? Maybe by your creativity, Nicole, or just with the parts that appear on the game. Yes, as you say, every student is trying to understand and give some kind of form to the goal. No? At the end, I'm going to talk about the who appears to be the transmutation, but here is just giving up the students the option to change among the pieces. No? Okay, we are here with Nicolas. So Nicolas pick up the sorrow and put on the head, okay? And he pick up an old past fissure and put on a place of the table. And he put the emotional pain here in a leg of the table. You remember that in the leg of the table appeared like a small turtle with like a head that is okay. Yes, go ahead, Andres, answer the question.
I think we have a very interesting question from Joel Haffer. I'm pretty sure I'm not pronouncing your name correctly.
Sure.
He asked, or she asked, I hope, I know, I think it's a he, the mindsets are represented by the monsters, or what are the monsters representing? I added the second part of the question.
It's a
His
good
question
question.
is, the mindsets are represented by the monsters?
The bad mindset, if you want to use that kind of representation, are the monsters.
The
But
bad mindsets are the monsters.
yes,
Okay.
more of the less the ego representation is
Okay.
the bad. The human is like the present, and it's the mindset that how we are living the life is the current mindset, the human representation. And
Okay.
a galactic character that we said that is the ordinary self. It's like how we want to appear to be the magic, the change, the evolution. That is his action. So we have three kind of characters. The monster that are like the bad, the human that is okay or current or present, and the self that is how we want to appear to be the magic, the change. We want to put this kind of thing different. Thanks, Andres. So here, Nicholas pick up the head that is called the beauty and put on the top of this laptop that is part of this laptop and the other part is a paperwork. Ah, we have another one on the first one. supposed to be Edward. Hi, Edward. What is going on? Thank you very much, Edward. Okay, it's a girl, and you want to start with the natural world. Remember, as I told you, this is the laptop with the paperwork. Remember that here, most of the time, I am giving you the structure of the rules. I give you all the freedom to try to understand what is the message of this mindset, what is the message of this goal, what represents it for you for this situation. And you want to decide with that kind of structure how to solve it, what you want to propose. And we have different kinds of structures. Thanks. So it's appeared that Nicholas finished the character. Thank you very much, Nicholas. James, how to address it? And a word for all. Thanks. Like, so you finish, Nicole. You put the names. No, you have to give a little bit of memory. So you pick up the card that is called giving yourself value, and put giving yourself value on your hand when you struck the problem. And then you put a little bit of red value on the shoulder of the girl. No? So you want to give it like a palm, like a palm. And how to address it? That is the real question. How to address it? Thanks. And the final one. It's Maria Alejandra. Maria Alejandra decided to like trying to form the character in the middle of the girl. It's a curious representation. Maria, does it have a meaning for you the small squares on the top of the girl, like different kinds of parts? Thanks for participating for this kind of simulacrum of how you want to transmute a mindset. We're going to talk about. So thank you very much for all the students to appear in this action. We're going to move back to con la diapositiva, ¿no? With the screenshots. ¿Cuál es la diapositiva? Thanks. Thanks. Now we have this kind of exercise. No, no, the last view, please. Yes, yes, spectacular. Thanks. So, well, we have this kind of transformation experience. So, I want to have a little bit resume. So the idea is that we begin with the current mindset, that is the human representation. We have a character, and here we want to ask three little big questions. Who is? What is your goal? And how to address it? Yes, how to address it, how to help him address his problem. That is different when you want to give up the option or give the girl the option to pick up the responsibility of it. Then we pick up two kind of energies, or again, two kind of mindsets. The monster mindset and the self mindset. We need to put parts of the monster on the current mindset. So we need to pick up old parts to do this change, or we have to pick up the new ones, the representation of the self, to solve the problem. But I want to give you the answer because most of the meaning, especially for the persons in the workshop, is why they put that part in another place, what they want to do. Yes, and here we have like the names, no, the three characters, no, the human, the monster, and the divine. And where for me, for this kind of vision, in the middle is the public servant. For me, this girl represents the public servant, and every part of his representation have a meaning. No? So in the leg of the table, it appears to be a turtle is the slowest. So we have a problem with this mindset with the public servant that they are the slowest. Most of the time, his process takes a lot of time. Then we have in a part of the table the bureaucracy. Yes. So so it's person that are trying to lead and help us to solve the problem in the city just by staying from the side of this table, not go and involve, understand, and live. See? Then we have a problem here that this is quality. That word or the hand putting on the table without the scratch it is trying to represent that the quality is not so good, no? And maybe it's appeared to be finished the problem, but it's still broken, no? So this is quality, no? We have to change that. Remember, we want to change with a transmutation meaning, no? And here is what we begin to do other transmutation just for doing a mental effort to trying to mix the pieces. Okay, as you say, some of our students have been using and putting part of the pain on the girl. And they want to try to understand why I put on the shoulders the pain or the sorrow and putting it in the representation of I don't see this with the word. This is the word. Unconditional service. Yes. That is the other hand, no? The sensation that we want that the public servant do unconditional service to the country, to the citizens. No? That is the change. And in the lower part, we have like a mix, no? A computer and a lot of paper, no? It's like if we are going to go digitally, we want to be in a more efficient way to live the life, not just expand this paperwork. So most of the time, we are living with paperwork situation or hearing on the digital world this kind of reality or missing information or missing the correct channel to talk with the person. That is all the overview of the public servant here as a representation that we create. Or we use the energy of the monster to understand how we are seeing it, or we use the energy of the self or the divine self to evolve. For me, it's like the sensation that I want to transmit you with this kind of exercise on the person on the workshop. Maybe it could be in another way, but I want to be like some interactive experience. Yes. So Andres, you have one question, like contrary, you want to go and explain more the Jamboard students. What do you want? For me, like this is like the final setup. Javier, ¿podrías darle entrada? Yes. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Quiroz, for this interesting presentation. In my opinion, disruptive approach. We do have one question from Nicole Mendez.
Thank you very much, Nicole. You appear to be on the Jamboard. Thank you very much.
She's asking, what do we need to do in Colombia to overcome our currently social situation? What do we need to do in Colombia to overcome our current social situation?
We have like three kind of approach. No? As you say this, Nicole, one of the approach is explicit, see and set up the current mindset. That is the idea of this character, the public servant. We want to all the people understand how we see the current servant, how I individually see the current servant, and then we have to do a change. Part of the game is trying to mix up and give enough creativity to do that change. The second approach is we have to do proposals. We have to do projects. Also, we could use the platform of entrepreneurial or social entrepreneurial approaches to solve these kind of issues. Again, the fixed mindsets here on the public servant. And the third one, having to asking the question, do we have a wellness if we still fight the person that are doing the things wrong? Do we improve or expand our wellness if we attack mentally or emotionally to the corruption? Or maybe we have to do like a censor, we have to mute them and letting the person to give it and put in the position that okay, that could be appear, but I am focusing on expand wellness with another kind of strength. It's not like, oh no, I am not seeing. No, it's not like that. It's like we don't have to talk about it. But better put proposal. Usually, social entrepreneurial proposal would be a better way. Thanks, Andres.
Any other questions that anyone would like to share? Uh, I'd like to go back to your original question for a minute.
Yes, the, the, the bigger one, this one.
Yes. Here we are. I have a Edward Santos has a question. Yes, Edward, you can write it down and I'll share it with Professor Gustavo.
Thanks, Ed.
Uh, while Edward writes his question, I want you to invite I want to share some thoughts regarding this question. There are two implicit assumptions that I see in this question. First assumption is that we either want or need to change or transmute a current mindset of citizens, but doesn't our individual mindset, doesn't our individual thinking depends on the societal mindset, right? A lot of our individual thinking is absolutely determined by what society thinks or what the culture
Some of the times, yes.
conditions my thinking. The culture and the society and the social norms, they condition my individual thinking. In this question, are you referring to changing that societal mindset that determines my individual thinking, or are you talking about how to change or transmute my individual thinking so that I can influence or
Yeah.
somehow?
It's more the second one, to give example and lead by example.
Okay.
Is that if we change our individual thinking, this impact of the citizen is more by example. And if
Okay.
people are seen as expanding governance more than the outside situations, they are going to ask, what are you doing?
Hmm.
And you can say, I am understanding my mind, my mindset, I am changing it. You want? That is, I tell you, that is the revolution, building a neutral zone that is not just fighting the outside situation, but opening new ways to interact with it.
And I think the question of Edward is similar to what I had in mind. He's asking, is it easy to organize civil society to transmute, or do we need to do more individual work?
I pick up like the middle place, no? I create a board game, so every person wants to play with his family,
Right.
with his small group to transmute his individual thinkings, no? It's like a part, half part. It could be a better way, yes. For example, here we have a lot of cultura andina. But we have here like a lot of history for our ancestors, especially before the Spain come to this continent, and they have a lot of rituals, but they are social rituals from a lot of larger group of persons that enter the ritual like in a ceremony and a celebration, and they understand the mindset of that time. That is another way, especially if we are searching or celebrations after these COVID convergence. You have seen that most of the celebrations, the carnivals here in Colombia, have a meaning to enjoy the life and move forward. It's another way, it's another representation. So yes, it could be the way you have to search for the tools. Here I pick up like a 50-50. 50 for small groups to impact to another kind of citizens.
Okay. We have another question from Paula Gutierrez.
Casos, no,
Paula,
es hard.
Paula is asking, do you think that Colombia is ready to transmute, or do we need to change some things before?
It's a very good question. If I answer it by my professor perspective, it's like kicking up my own representation because most of the time with my students, in some moments, attacking with the jumpers, is that they are not thinking about his reality. They are simply living it, don't asking the good questions, trying to evolve with it. No? If you want what we need to transmit Colombia, the idea here is what is that we need to think if we want to do changes, not just adjust to the external changes. For
Mhm.
example, the COVID convergence. If we want to create change for our perspective, for our evolution, if we want to do that, that is the first one that we need, the emotion, the passion to do the change. Then we have to commit it, not by pure revolution or use the force. As I said before, using the force is not a good way. It could be a way, but here we have a lot of creativity in Latin America. Our
Hmm.
friends to do that, understanding that if we put too much pressure on using the force of the violence, maybe we are creating part of the problem and not transmuting it.
Another comment here from Joer Hafer. He says we do need a lot, or at least a majority of citizens to change society. I have a question. I guess this could be the last one.
Thanks for the comment.
If we as individuals, if an individual want to be an agent of change, if he or she wants to influence change and transmutation of the current mindset of a social system, but he doesn't have the autonomy or the no, the autonomy, I think is the word, to make any change. He can only share ideas, he can only propose new ways of doing things, but he doesn't actually have the autonomy and the power to implement those ideas. He would need, or she would need, to be accepted by those with the power, and then try to somehow question or adapt those norms to what he thinks is best for the system or for society. How do you understand the role of power and norms and autonomy in the face of an agent of change, of someone who wants to create that change or wants to motivate that change?
The middle level of that is that there is enough creativity to find a way between these two kind of restraints, the auto-representation and fight with the person that has the power. That is why the technology, the cryptocurrency, the digital world has been expanded a lot because
Right,
there we have
right.
like a whiteboard to create. But that is not only the only whiteboard. We have a lot of
Mm,
places to expand the creative. If you are struggle with these two kind of problems, the autonomy and fighting with the person that has the power, maybe you have to change that fixed mindset and put that expanded mindset to foster creativity in another way and approach the problem for that new way because the old one maybe you will finish on a fight.
right.
As I say, fighting is not transmutation.
Fighting is not fighting is not transmuting. Creativity, transmutation comes from creativity, right?
Yes.
All right. So again, thank you very much,
Oh,
Professor
thank you to
Quiroz,
all of you.
for
Thank
uh,
you very much
for
for
your
that.
time. For Thank you for sharing your ideas and for
Of
being part
course.
of the HEPCOPA lecture series.
Oh,
It was an important and interesting lecture to envision solutions in terms of overcoming that fixed mindset, not only in an individual level, but in a society level. Uh, that's all for today. Thank you again. Uh, and we invite you for next Wednesday, November 17th, to the third lecture of the series. Will we be talking about designing for the pluriverse? So see you soon and have a great rest of your day.
bye. Thank you very much for all of you for staying here. And let's hope we find some mindset and continue. Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Thank you again. Bye, everyone.
El mundo puede detenerse. Tus sueños no. Elige bien. Elige UPB.